Hey mama, today I wanted to go a little bit more into how I do both nursing and get my baby used to a bottle. But I also had a pretty big benefit from nursing that I totally missed last week, which actually is a pretty cool story. So we will jump into that, talking a little bit about some of the things that you can deal with after pregnancy with having a baby and some things I have learned along the way. My baby is 5 months, and if you are new, I have been doing a few episodes over the summer and this fall on babies and things I have been reminded of in having my fifth baby around. And so pregnancy ends in something beautiful. It ends in you getting this little infant and this baby to take care of, which is so amazing, but it also comes with its own hardships, struggles, and challenges. So as a fellow mom, I want to share what I have learned over my 5 babies and hope that you can find something that you can use in your future, or if you currently have a baby with your current baby. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life, and I can help you. Thanks for joining. So last week I talked about the benefits of nursing. I specifically hit on 5 benefits of nursing with one bonus tip that I hadn't think of. And then as I was I like to re-listen to my podcasts to see if they're good, to see if they're inspiring, to see like if I made mistakes or if I say the word too much. Anyway, so I was re-listening to my podcast and it came to my mind that I missed a huge benefit. And I just almost started laughing to myself. So I usually listen to my podcasts while I mow the lawn. It's still a season currently where we need to mow the lawn. And I got thinking as I finished my podcast, I didn't turn another one on, and I was just thinking about how ironic and also crazy and amazing it was that this benefit didn't even come to mind. And I'll tell you why. And that's because it was my main driving factor for nursing for my first few babies. It was the main reason I nursed. There were many times when I nursed my first few babies and I just was like, oh, this is so hard. I wish I could just do the bottle. And I'll tell you what that main motivator was. If I could say it, main motivator was money. Formula is expensive. And nursing your baby and breastfeeding your baby is free. It is completely free. And I laughed to myself that I didn't even think about that in last week's episode, and how much mindset work I've done around money, how much mindset work I've done around nursing, how many times I've had to shift to get away from that. And now for my 5th pregnancy, that wasn't even mainly on my mind. And I was actually very proud, I guess would be the word to say. I was proud of myself that money was no longer the main motivator for me in nursing our babies, to save that money that more formula would cost. The motivators became the other things that I listed in last week's episode. And it's not that we made more money. We're self-employed, and our work, or my husband's work, is very seasonal. So we make some money in that season, but then when it's not that season, we have to live off of that money for the rest of the year. Anyway, we at this point don't have a ton of extra to do formula. It's not that we all of a sudden changed our finances. That's not what happened. It was the shifting of the mindset. And it was just such an amazing eye-opener to me that this stuff does work and it can shift you. Because I did a lot of mindset work around that, and I have had to do and still am doing a lot of mindset work around money. Nonetheless, I really wanted to share that with you because sometimes it can feel like you're not making progress in the mindset work when it comes to pregnancy, when it comes to motherhood, or whatever else you're dealing with in your life that you're trying to shift your thoughts on. It can feel like you're not making progress. And then here you are and you look back and you're amazed. Like you have made progress, like I am in this episode. I'm amazed that I did make progress. And I will tell you that even though it wasn't a great motivator, it still was a good motivator and it got me in the rhythm of nursing. And I have learned to love nursing and to like it a lot better because of that. I was very financially driven at first. Why would I cost us so much extra money to buy formula when I could just feed my baby for free? And we did choose together for me to be a stay-at-home mom, and that also contributes to us making less money. But it was a priority, and we're making that sacrifice. And I know that sometimes it's not able to always work that way, and sometimes you do need to formula feed your baby. I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just wanting you to mostly see the miracles of mindset work. Anyway, that is just a little blurb on what I wanted to share before I jumped into how I do nursing and a bottle. I really feel like I've mentioned this before, but I couldn't remember the episode that I've talked about it in, and there were no, when I title searched it, I couldn't find it, so I'm going to title this something so that I can find it in the future when I need to reshare it. But how I do nursing my baby and get them used to taking a bottle. So one thing about nursing is if you do not train your baby to take a bottle, it will be likely hard to get them to take a bottle. I started doing this around 1.5 or 2 months. I actually probably started earlier, but I found more success with it after a couple of months. And what I would do is I basically just nurse my baby all the time except for the last feeding in the evening. So the feeding right before bed, I would take some stored breast milk and that I had previously frozen and give them a bottle with that, or let someone in my family feed the baby a bottle. Now I like to do this for a couple of reasons. First, it gets the baby used to taking the bottle, so that when you want to go somewhere, you're not time strapped to being back in time for the baby, or you can actually leave the baby. Some women just don't even leave their baby because they don't know if the baby will get hungry while they're gone. I like being able to have a little bit of freedom, so I do like the bottle, but I also it was nice to give my kids and husband the opportunity for them to feed the baby a bottle. So with that last evening feed, I would this is what I'm still doing actually, we just feed the baby a bottle and then lay him down. And then before I go to bed, I pump, and that gives me enough milk to keep giving him breast milk bottles. Now, if you want to try supplementing with formula during this feed, you could do that. I have just found that my baby's stomachs do not tolerate formula very good. It makes them spit up, it makes them colicky, and so I've learned that it's just better to pump. And then I find that I actually sleep better if I do that pump because I'm not so full. Just a lot of reasons why to do that. The first being you'll have milk for your baby. The second being you'll sleep better. And it just, I don't know, it's been a little cycle that has worked good for me. So this allows your baby to get used to a bottle so that if you want to do date night without your baby, or if you want to go somewhere without your baby, they're used to taking a bottle. And in fact, I put this to the test at the end of last month, and I went to an overnighter for mothers that my homeschool group did. And I really wanted to be a part of this, and I went back and forth in my head on whether or not I was going to take my baby. It was actually mentally took up a lot of space. Nonetheless, I decided that I wanted to try to leave him. I had trained him with the bottle for purposes like this, and it was a place where I could take my pump and just pump while there. And so that's what I did. I ended up leaving him, and it went really well. My husband took care of him. My husband and kids took care of him, and I was able to pump, and it was a success. One of the moms did have to leave because she tried leaving her baby at home, but her baby was not used to taking a bottle. And so she ended up leaving to go home to be with the baby. And there were a lot of other moms at this retreat that took their baby. It's totally fine and beautiful that we can all be different and do things differently, and find things that work for us. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do, is to find things that work for you. Maybe you just love having your baby with you all the time and nursing them all the time. And I think that's beautiful, and I think that's great. Maybe nursing is just hard and you can't do it, or your milk doesn't come in good, or what have you. Or maybe you want to have the best of both worlds like me and be able to do a little bit of both. Do your own research. I always encourage that. Pray. Be enlightened. Find what calls to you. As I've been talking to you throughout this episode, which method calls to you, or which do you want to try for this baby? And give it a try. Mindset work is amazing. Mindset work is powerful. And choosing to find positivity during pregnancy is not always easy, but it is powerful. I have learned it with my last 2 pregnancies, as I have, especially my last one, as I have taken my own mini course. I talk about this frequently because it made a big difference and has made a big difference in my pregnancies when I choose to find more positivity instead of focusing on the negativity. I put together this morning sickness mini course for mental health. And I know it's called the morning sickness mini course because that was the season I struggled with the most. But if you're struggling, these aren't all specific to morning sickness, they're specific to pregnancy. But I found that I needed it during that time the most. But if you're struggling during pregnancy, there are videos in this course that can help you. It's 44 videos with the videos 2 to 8 minutes. I actually think if you go to the direct link in the show notes, you can see the topics to all of the videos and all the things that I talk about in helping you to shift the negative mindset to a positive one. It's no actual exercises. You don't write anything down. You don't have to do physical exercises. They're mental exercises that help you to shift when you are struggling in negativity. If you want to get out of that mental misery during pregnancy, I encourage you to check it out. My website also has other free resources, and in the show notes, it links to all the social medias, which I'm not very good at being active on. Nonetheless, they are there with resources if you want more help. You're doing amazing, Mama. I know it might not seem like you are, but listening to this podcast, you are trying. You are trying to better yourself. You are trying to find more positive thoughts, and that is saying something. God needs you. Your family needs you, and you need you in these endeavors. Keep up the good work. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight, and becoming the mom you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.